Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to this channel. So today we're talking Foundation, a new series out on Apple TV+. This will be a spoiler-free review. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video, and if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe if you like keeping up with all the new movies, TV shows. We're going to be doing a recap and review of each and every episode every week, so if you want to talk about it in the comments, discuss it, it's a fun time. But without further ado, let's get into Foundation. So the first two episodes of Foundation are out on Apple TV+ right now. And it's a sci-fi story about a collapsing empire. The big actor name that's attached to this is Jared Harris, who everyone knows now from Chernobyl. Really loved that limited series. He was a phenomenal actor in that series, and it seems like he's bringing that same sort of presence to this show. So I really enjoyed him in this. He sort of plays like this Nostradamus character. He's able to predict the future using math, a really cool element. And so the first episode I really enjoyed. I thought it was so great. The show does a great job at world building. Like I said, I'm a big sci-fi fan. You know, I love Star Wars, Arrival, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Interstellar, and you see that this show draws inspiration from all those movies. So Jared Harris's character predicts that this empire is going to fall soon. We're going to go into the Dark Ages. Obviously, the empire doesn't like that, and the whole first episode kind of centers around this idea, and there's like this whole trial thing. Kind of reminded me of like Game of Thrones episode. Remember that whole trial episode? Really love Game of Thrones. Really love that episode. So if you're into that, I love the whole trial element to this show. So it also has another character played by Lou LaBelle. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. She plays this character who really loves math and science. She kind of wins this contest to become the prodigy of Jared Harris's character. So I don't want to spoil anything that happens with her and everything, but it was a cool element to the show. So like I said, I'm a big fan of those sci-fi movies, right? I love movies like that. And like I said, the show does a great job of world building. That was where the strengths lie in that first episode. Just showing this world, showing how unique the sci-fi elements were. You know, sometimes sci-fi movies, they can kind of fall into the same tropes when everyone's saying like hyperdrive and, you know, we're going into like this dimension. They all use those same sort of scientific words and it kind of gets repetitive. You can finally fall into the same tropes of a sci-fi movie when you see the same spaceships and space and nothing feels unique. But this felt very unique. It differentiated itself while also feeling the same. You know, there is spaceships and stuff like that and different like snow planets, and it does feel similar, but it also is different enough and unique enough to where I didn't really draw comparisons to different movies. I think it just did its own thing in its own sci-fi world. Like even the spaceships, you know, moved in their own unique way. So I really appreciated that. I thought the elements of sci-fi were really cool and different, and it was just something that stood out to me. The show also feels very big budget. I don't know what the budget was for this show, but you can tell the CGI was really good. You know, it looks like Apple TV's investing a lot into this show. You know, they probably want it to be like this like Game of Thrones sort of thing, but like in a sci-fi. Even with the intro, you can kind of see it has like that Game of Thrones intro sort of, you know, but not really. But you can just tell that they're investing a lot in the show, and I think it works. The CGI looks great. I'm like I said, the world building is phenomenal. Like the atmosphere is great. I'm very interested in the planets and the people that occupy it. And that first episode just did a very good job of like just pulling my interest in and just making me so interested in this world and what's going on. And I love the whole falling empire aspect. One thing I'll also say is that the story is sort of hard to follow sometimes. Another trope of sci-fi movies that sometimes they can, you know, just kind of move too fast and you kind of use all this like new technological terms or talk about the lore too much, and it's sort of like hard to follow because, you know, we're just thrown into this new world. You know, we're just trying to wrap our heads around what's going on. So when they're talking about their own past and their own technological terms so fast, sometimes it could lose us a bit. But I think it's easy enough to follow. You know, like if you're not fully locked in, you may miss some things here and there, but it was never too much to where it loses you completely. So like I said, the first two episodes are out right now, right? So the first episode and the second episode, I think were very different in my opinion. Like, so the first episode, you can probably already tell I loved it. I honestly did love it. The world building, the characters were great. The whole predicting the end of the empire, going from future to past, they kind of cut to like 35 years earlier, to just 35 years later. I just thought it was super intriguing. It had me invested. I wanted to go and watch the next one. Episode 2, not gonna lie, I was kind of bored throughout. Maybe it was because it was late. I don't think so though. I was kind of awake. I was ready to watch it, and it was just boring. It didn't really. I didn't have that same awe as the first episode. It doesn't really showcase the world as much as I liked it to in that first episode. I'm not going to spoil the story, so I'm not going to talk about episode 2 that much, but just know that I just felt like it was very filler, which I know I don't like using that word. A lot of people don't like using the word filler, but that's just what it sort of felt like. They had to go from like point A to point B, and there were some good moments throughout, but it does have a crazy ending, like an ending that just throws you off, and I was like, holy shit. So I'm not going to spoil that, but in the episode 3, I do want to talk about that ending. I do have some thoughts about that. So I usually give you guys my ratings of the show as a whole, right, after I talk about this. I'm not going to give you guys my ratings of the show as a whole yet, because obviously there's only 2 episodes. But the first one I did rate like a 3.8, and the second one I rated like a 3.2. I think it does have a pretty big drop from that first episode. So overall, if the second episode was as good as the first, I'd be telling you guys that any sci-fi fan should at least go and check out the first episode to see if you like it. I think, if that second episode was just as good as the first, that's what I'd be telling you guys, because I think it would have been so great from that first episode. But because the second episode does dip a lot, I think it's just better to wait just to see where the show leads to. Maybe wait for the third or fourth episodes. We see people starting to hype it up a lot. It just gets more interesting, goes a different route. Then you can go and check it out. But right now, I just don't think it's something you need to rush and go and see. But that being said, if you do love sci-fi, like I said, if you love Star Wars, Arrival, all those movies I named, at least go and check out the first episode, because I do think the first episode is really great. Maybe you'll like the second episode more than I did, and you'll just happen to love it, the same way I love the first one. But let me know if you guys plan on watching it. If you've seen it already, just comment down your thoughts below. But that's it. Like always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.